Any questions?
Yes, I have one.
Yes, sir.
You were going to explain why you have such a small kid.
Oh, because the owner of the establishment that we play with on Sunday would get nothing, would ask for nothing bigger. I'm very happy to even have a job, and I'm not going to push oh, I'm sorry, there really is another reason. I'm 47, and I'm sick and tired of playing out drums. When I was learning how to play this instrument at Towson, one of my things I wanted to do was get into the jazz combos. And this is part of this, because you have to put yourself out in front of an audience and be naked and concentrate and try not to make mistakes, but if you do, learn how to live through it and learn from it. So when we had combo rehearsals, I had the rehearsal room was upstairs. I didn't feel like bringing a whole bunch of drums, so I would always just bring this. And I found that because I just concentrated on this small part of the whole jazz experience, things started to come together. And because my ear wanted to hear toms, I started using what I had in replacement and trying to get that tom sound with what I had. Trying to get different tones and timbres and everything like that from what I had. Now the downside about that was when I went back to a real kit, to like a 4-piece or a 5-piece, I couldn't play the toms. I had no idea what to do with the toms. So I learned quickly that if I do this, I still need to mix it up every now and then. But you really don't need a lot of equipment. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that guys like Terry Boggio, like 1,000 drums, are crazy. That man is unbelievable. But you know, if you are going to make an ostinato, your own drum machine with your left hand and your left foot, and solo with your right hand, and counterbalance solo with your right, I'm sorry, this is left. Okay. Flip that. If you're able to do that, holy smokes, bring out all the drums you can. But I find, and you know, you may want to think about this sometime, if you take away the things that you feel comfortable with, you will find that your mind will say, it's just like not having an arm. It will find some way to compensate for it, and you'll never know you're missing an arm. So it really is a way of freeing one's mind. It really is. Any other questions? Yes?
How would you recommend developing a sense of overall time for any sort of situation besides like practicing with a metronome, practicing slowly? If there's another way to sort of get a really good internal talk.
Well, you know what's interesting? In the drum world, there's some, I guess you would call them words that would make a drummer feel inadequate. One of it is time. If a drummer does not possess a good sense of time, what good is he? He's a roadie. Even roadies have a great sense of time. Let's just say he's just a drum holder. What I did, and I tell this to all my private students, is I never practiced with a metronome. Never practiced with a metronome. I found metronomes to be boring. I know a lot of drummers say, okay, I have to do this because it's what I was taught. That's true. You do have to start developing a good sense of time. But most of your albums today are done to a click track. If you sit there and you play with any of the albums that, I don't care who it is, you can find the oldest, Buddy Rich, whatever it is. If you take a Buddy Rich album, start at the beginning, get the tempo, then stop it, start at the end, it's the same tempo. Practice with that. You know, I find that playing with the rhythm section is ultimately what you want to know how to do. So if like my son Michael, you know, I've been giving him a couple of, because he has a little drum set in his own basement, and I've been giving him songs that I wanted to practice. The next time I'm giving him is Screaming Headless Torso. I don't know if you guys have ever heard them, but that's a bad band. And it's way above his chop ability, but unless he's pushed and hears what he's capable of doing, he'll never get there. And they're metronomically tight. So have fun playing with an actual rhythm section. Because you don't, and there's also a downside to that. When I would sit and practice with Chick Corea, and I'm having a great time playing with Chick Corea, and I had a gig that same night, my gig was ruined. Because when I got on that gig, I thought everybody was going to play like Chick Corea. So I was forcing a whole bunch of things. Yeah, let's take it there. Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there. And they're like, man, no. So it's important with me. I don't know how it is with you guys, but with me, the mindset is you need to be in the correct mindset when you get on the gig. I'll never practice before a gig again, ever. I will never get behind a drum set and play with somebody who's like and get to a gig, because it ruins the gig for everybody. So don't go to a gig with preconceived notions. Start to feel it out. It's very important that when you get on the gig, you see where your comfort levels are of those who are playing around you. And that, of course, goes with those who you've never played with before. But if you're familiar with them, you let them know, well, I like to try. Don't even let them know, just do it. See what happens. Okay, you almost ready, Ron?
I'm getting there.
Okay. We're going to try and recreate.
Water. Can I get Keith against water? No?
Yes, please. We're going to try and recreate some of these techniques using now a more blues rock approach.
Excuse me, thank you.
And
Thank you, excuse me.
and I think the last thing that I failed to mention that I'd like to use as a form of tension is metric modulation. Metric modulation is not a hemiola, and it's not a polyrhythmic rhythm. It's just taking an existing rhythm and going against the grain. Where if the downbeat is on 2 and 4, make the downbeat on 1 and 3. And when you make the downbeat on 1 and 3, it causes the listener to think, oh my goodness, there's a disconnect up in the band. But then when it snaps back to 2 and 4 again, once again, that's the ride. That's what really gets my ear bent. So hopefully we can recreate that in this piece called, let's try Slap Your Ball Head. I'll be nice and warm up on.
Okay.
This is a nice solid blues tune, and because it's open, it gives me an opportunity to get into trouble. Let's see what happens.
I'm getting there.
It's cool. Oh, shoes. Go ahead.
What's that? Check. 1, 2. Test. Yeah, you can leave me dry. Fine. I really apologize already.